We're back with episode 3. Episode 3, we're going to be making a super simple, no-knead loaf of bread. It's super delicious, very easy to do. You're going to need half a cup of warm water. I use a 1/4 cup of honey, but you can use agave, you can use sugar, 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast, 3 cups of red flour. You can use all-purpose flour if that's what you have, and 2 teaspoons of salt. First, you put your warm water in a large bowl. To the warm water, you're going to want to add your sweetener, your honey, agave, sugar, whichever you choose. I am using honey. From there, you add your yeast. 2 teaspoons active dry yeast. You want to whisk it together. It's going to turn a funky color. That's what you want. And try to get it as incorporated as possible. Break up that yeast. It's going to be bubbly. And with the honey, it makes it almost like a tan color. And from here, you're going to want to let it sit for 10 minutes. It's gonna bubble, you want the yeast to bloom. The sugar, sweetener, whatever you choose is going to activate the yeast, and it's going to make it beautiful. It's been 10 minutes. It's beautiful and bubbly and alive. I realized that I misspoke in the beginning part, and you need 1.5 cups of water, not half a cup. So it's 1.5 cups of warm water with the rest of the ingredients. So after your 10 minutes, you want to add in your 3 cups of flour, slowly, so you don't make a big mess. And then you want to add in your 2 teaspoons of salt. You want to use a wooden spoon and just start to incorporate the water mixture and your flour. It is going to be very, very sticky and very, very messy. You just work slow, gradually incorporating it all together. My kids ask for this almost daily. I try to make a loaf of bread every single day. 1, it's very easy. 2, super delicious, as if it were to have come from a bakery. Any of you try this recipe? Really love to see pictures, hear how your experience was. I'm telling you, this stuff is sticky. But that's just the way it goes. You don't need to touch it with your hands at all. I'm gonna try to get it into the middle of the bowl. It's gonna look like a big blob. That's what you're looking for. Try to get as much off of your spoon as possible. You could wet your hands. Pull it off with your wet hands. The dough will not stick to your wet hands, but I got it pretty good. This is how it will look. When it looks like this, you're gonna wanna cover your bowl with a piece of saran wrap, or at least this is how I do it. Completely cover the bowl. Take a cloth, put that over the top, and you want to put it in a warm, dry place for 2 hours. I keep mine in the oven with the oven light on. Just the heat from the oven light warms it just enough for it to rise really well. So it's gonna go in to the oven. Like I said, you want it to rise for 2 hours. The way that I do it is I put it in, I set a timer for 1 hour and 40 minutes. When that timer goes off, I take it out, set it on the counter, and I use a Dutch oven, put the Dutch oven into the oven, and start preheating it at 450 degrees. Once it's preheated and it's been 2 hours, I then will take the Dutch oven out, prepare the rest of the dough. Okay, so after your 2 hours, 1 hour and 45 minutes, you're gonna take your dough out, set it on the counter. You're going to place your Dutch oven, or however you're going to be baking it in a loaf, in the oven. You're gonna preheat it to 450 degrees, and you're gonna let the dough sit and continue to rise on the counter. It has grown substantially. It's probably double, if not more than double in size at this point. And now we just wait till our oven is preheated, and we will get the dough on the counter. Okay, so our oven is preheated with the, I can't remember the word, but I'll show you. The Dutch oven. It's preheated, ready to go. So we are going to take our dough in the bowl. Carefully take your saran wrap off, because if it touches your dough, it will pull some dough out with it. Done it a few times. You're gonna take a dough scraper, and you're gonna wanna scrape it onto a very well floured surface. This dough is extremely sticky. And you just scrape it out. It smells heavenly, like delicious bread, yeast, all of the things. You're gonna get covered in dough and flour, so make sure you cover your clothing. And this is how it will look. From here, you want to make sure you have flour on your fingers, and you're just gonna pull all of the sides into the center so that all of your dough underneath has some flour and is a little bit more manageable. Once it's in a semi-ball, you want to take it, flip it upside down, and bring all your sides in so that it is a ball. You're going to want to get some flour on your hands, pat it on the top because you got some wet sticky spots on the top. And now you have a nice ball. You're going to pick that ball up, put it on a piece of parchment paper. You're going to want to score it, and you can do that however you want. I usually do either a line down the center or an X in the middle. From there, you want to get your Dutch oven out. It's very hot, very, very hot. You take it out, remove the lid, take the parchment paper with your dough, lay it carefully so you do not burn yourself into the pot, the Dutch oven. Put the lid back on, and you're gonna put it back in the preheated oven for 30 minutes with the lid on. Don't forget to set your timer, 30 minutes with the lid on, and while you're waiting, you just clean up all of your mess. So our 30-minute timer just went off for the bread in the Dutch oven. we are going to take it out of the oven, remove the lid, and we're actually gonna put it back in for 5 more minutes just to brown the top really nice. Don't forget to set your timer, 5 minutes. Okay, our 5-minute timer to brown the top just went off. We're gonna turn off the oven. Make sure you turn off your oven. Take it out. So beautiful, so, so beautiful. You're gonna take it out of here, and you're gonna cool it on a cooling rack. The paper itself is not hot, but it rips and you could burn yourself. So be very, very careful. And here she is. Look at her. She's so pretty. Take a look. Now, it's very important. Most important part. It's gonna be really hard, but do not cut it until it is completely cooled. If you do, it will break all apart inside. It's super gummy inside. You just want to leave it. It's the hardest part of the entire recipe, but I promise you it's so worth it. Store it in a Ziploc, saran wrap, however, just to keep it from the outside air. If you like this, please comment. Let me know what you think. Give it a try. It's so good. My kids ask for it on a daily basis. My son will eat it for every meal of the day. I hope you enjoy. This is episode 3. I'm not certain what's going to be episode 4 yet. Thank you so much. See you soon.